Hello, this is Gary from the Horror Cut, and I just wanted to give you a little heads up that this was our first outdoor recording, and the gremlins got into our mics, and we had some sound issues, but it's not too bad, and we hope you still enjoy the episode, and we will bring you another one next week. So enjoy this little bonus episode.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? They're here.
Welcome to the Horror Cut.
So we are filming today's episode at this beautiful loch in tribute to the film that we are about to review.
It's Camp Crystal Lock.
Camp Crystal Loch.
And what film are we discussing today?
So we are discussing Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Which, it wasn't the final chapter, was it?
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. It's the same, like we already released one Final Destination, and then you had the Final Destination, which wasn't the Final Destination. Was there not the, like, almost a final A Nightmare on Elm Street kind of as well, which wasn't? Wes Craven's A New Nightmare kind of brought it back.
Yeah, Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare, aye. But yeah, it came back. But they always come back.
So, Friday the 13th, Part 4. So, we're doing this episode because Friday the 13th of June is Jason's birthday. So I said to you, why don't you pick a Friday the 13th that we can review, I guess, celebrate? And you went for Part 4. So why did you pick this?
Well, I was between Part 4 and Part 6, but I opted for Part 4. I mean, I'm sitting here wearing a Part 6 t-shirt, so maybe I should have opted for that instead, but you know what? Who cares? I just think Part 4, I mean, it's usually one you find at the top of most fans' favourites from the franchise. 4 and 6 are pretty equal, I think, in terms of, I guess, maybe comedy. The scares are pretty good. The makeup effects are good. Part 3 wasn't great at all. But Part 4, I think it's a pretty solid slasher film. It's directed by Joseph Vito, who also directed one of my favourite slasher films, The Prowler, a.k.a. Rosemary's Killer. So I said Rosemary's Baby there, but I caught myself.
It's doomed.
It has a death curse.
What would you say is your favourite kill in Friday the 13th Part 4?
I think the most effective death is actually Rob's death.
Okay.
You don't actually see, the knife or anything like that get in, but he's shouting, he's killing me, he's killing me, he's killing me. And you're like, fuck, it's quite effective. You see Rob's face, you see Jason, the shot is from behind both characters, so you can see Rob's face, and he's just screaming, he's killing me, oh God, Dina, run, 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 run.
I found it hilarious as a death, that one. So for me, I was like, would anyone shout, he's killing me? I was like, this is a bit weird. And I thought it was going to be like, oh, he's killing me, just so as we know as an audience, Rob's dead. And then he was going to appear again at the end.
Aye.
So for me, I found it the least effective.
Okay.
I thought Rob was really good in this, the actor.
It's pretty good.
But the death, I thought, was the worst part, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I've got two favourites.
Go for it.
One is the rubber dinghy, the boat, where Jason kind of comes through the base of the boat and up and kills one of the female victims, who's obviously topless because it's a Friday the 13th.
Samantha? Sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
But the reason that works for me is because to me it was a little homage to Kevin Bacon's death in the original, only it was like bigger. So it was through his neck, and this time it's like through the full boat. It's actually on the lake, which is quite cool. But the one that got me the most, I was like, oh, that's really effective, can't remember the character, but it's the guy in the shower who gets his head squished against the tiles.
Yeah.
And just, you can kind of, if you watch it in slow motion, you can tell when they've replaced him with like the dummy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really effective. So it's his face and like Jason's hand is like pushing him against the tiles. I think they could then cut to the blood at his feet. He's kind of slipping, and then we cut back for one final smack into the tiles, and that's the dummy. But it's still the sound design and all that really works for me on that scene as well.
Yeah, I think that with that, Tom Savini came back
Yes,
for this one. I think he's quoted as saying is like he wanted to be the one that basically finishes Jason off because he kind of started it. So that's quite interesting, and yeah, obviously his effects work is really second to none, especially in the 80s.
I also kind of like the opening of Friday the 13th Part 4, where it uses the kind of camp ghost story from Friday the 13th Part 2, but it's edited with all the kills from Part 1, 2 and 3. Part 2, when the ghost story, the campfire story is done, it's for laughs. But they've used what was a prank in Part 2 and made it quite haunting, like the place is cursed, and then we see all these deaths as well. So it's kind of got a more serious tone as well. You've got 3 acts in the film, and with each act it's almost a different setting. So you've got Act 1 where it's like the morgue in the hospital, and I think that's heavily influenced by Halloween Part 2.
Yeah.
And that's because it was 3 years before it. I think that was 81, and this was 84.
84, yeah.
As well. And then you've got the setting kind of around the holiday home with the teenagers, which is on the lake as well. So that's kind of like, okay, we're still at the lake here, but a lot of it's indoors. It feels more like a house. Like, it feels more, again, I guess, kind of like Halloween. And then Act 3 is kind of that, like, Act 3 is Jason entering the family home.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite cool. And that's not really been done because up to this point it is mostly a bunch of teenagers that Jason kills. But now we've got Corey as Tommy, you've got the mum, and you've got the sister, who I guess is kind of the same age as the teens. But I think that's quite cool to have this showdown in the family home.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's nice to see that family dynamic. Shall we talk about your main man, Corey?
Aye, let's do it. He's pretty good in this, isn't he?
It's a lot of fun. He's really cool in it.
Fun. He's cool, and it's interesting how, like, you know, you've got him who he's almost like a little genius. He can do everything, but it's particularly interesting that he does, masks, special effects work. Because obviously, you know, Savini. So it's interesting making him like. I wonder if that was maybe Savini's idea. Maybe I've no idea.
I think Tom Savini says as when he was a child, he was really into like masks and stuff like that, and it was like kind of maybe a homage to his own childhood and like the kind of things he was into. But I thought it was really interesting because obviously by the end of this film, they try and play Tommy as possibly being the next Jason, which was also done in with what's her name in Halloween 4. Danielle Harris.
Jamie Lloyd.
Jamie Lloyd, maybe going to be the next Michael. So they've tried this a few times and then they don't go through with it. But I thought it was interesting that with Tommy could be the next Jason at the end, but also both these characters love masks.
Yeah.
So you've got Jason in the sack in Part 2, then the hockey mask, obviously the classic hockey mask, and then you've got this other character who's really into hiding.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So we've also got Tommy's mum in this, who just disappears.
Yeah, you don't actually see if she dies or not. So you assume that she does.
She walks out to in front of her house, sees something, we don't get to see it, she goes, and
then that's it.
Then that's it. Do you think there was something maybe there that was rated too violent,
Maybe
like her death, and it was just cut out?
Maybe it was cut, yeah.
Because she
Possibly.
never mentioned again.
No.
Never mentioned.
No.
What do you think of the mum and the sister then?
Yeah, I think it's good to put that dynamic into it, but also have cause it's a nice kind of contrast between what's happening next door. You've just got the kids who are interested in partying. We've had that already before in these previous films, so having that aesthetic next door is kind of, it's grounding, but it adds another layer as well to Kimberly Beck's character for the final girl. It's like she doesn't get involved with the stuff next door. So it just makes her more pure.
And that's interesting because there's a few scenes where the teenagers next door try to invite her in, and she doesn't. So when they're like skinny dipping in the lake, Tommy's right in for it.
Tommy's loving it.
He's ready to go, but she's like, no, we'll go take my brother back into safety. So there's almost this even more pure virginity there.
Yeah.
So you don't see her drinking. She hangs out with Rob, but there's no real love, sexual relationship there with Rob either. The characters, the teens, are quite likeable, I thought, in this.
Yeah.
And also, I think this is the first time where I looked at a group in a slasher film, I guess, but in Friday the 13th, where I looked at the group of friends and thought, yous actually look like yous can be friends.
Yeah.
You know, they're not always arguing, they're kind of just bouncing off each other, more jokey.
Dead fuck.
Yeah.
You're a dead fuck, man.
So I thought that was quite interesting to see this group where you actually like, yous look like yous would be mates.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't feel that in a lot of slasher films. Like, I mean, look at Scream. The characters in Scream do not look like they should be friends. Do you really think that Billy would hang about with Stu? Or
Randy?
Or Randy, yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on...
Yeah, they're not like the characters in this. They're a bit... I'm not going to say they're super fleshed out because it's a slasher, but they've got a lot more going on for them than a lot of the previous characters in the franchise, haven't they?
Yeah. Let's talk about Rob then.
Aye, let's talk about Rob.
He's kind of like the B plot, but
Yeah.
I'm right in he kind of ties part 2 and part 4 together, doesn't he? Because he's there to look for his sister.
Yep.
And I wonder, is he there to look for his
I
sister?
think he knows that she's dead.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of the time difference between part 2 and part 4, but I can't think off the top of my head
Me
what it
neither.
would be.
But he's there to essentially hunt Jason down, right? Yeah. So I thought his character was interesting. I thought he was a bit weird, like deliberately weird. He's a bit mysterious. And if you watch it, he first meets Tommy's sister Trish, helps him out with the car.
Good thing he was there because, you know,
Yeah.
Cody didn't have a screwdriver. Or did he have a screwdriver?
No, and good job Rob carries a screwdriver in his ankle.
Yeah, I think it was a
in his
knife.
sock.
I think that was a knife, but they've just used a knife instead of a screwdriver.
Right.
But apparently you can fix a car with a screwdriver.
Well, this goes on to my next thing, right? Is Rob gets into the car, and the first thing he asks, "Is there any kids around about here?" Right, and then teenage kids. I think he means. I think he means teenage kids, and then he is carrying a machete as well. He's acting a bit shifty. Up until we start trusting Rob, when we find out about his sister and why he's there, you've not actually seen Jason kill anyone. There's been murders, but Jason's not been seen, and I think it's alluding to Rob might be the killer.
Yeah, but it's kind of nuts. Like when you think about this franchise, not as a whole, but I don't know of any other franchise that is, you know, the killer. Obviously, throughout the series is Jason, but we don't have Jason in the first film.
Yep.
He shows up at the end, but it's Jason as a young boy, and the second one he's a kind of grown man. Doesn't have the iconic mask. Gets it in the third, uses it in the fourth, and then the fifth, he's actually not the killer again.
But he's
So
in the
it's a
same mask.
strange. Aye. So it's a strange. I don't know any other franchise that where the signature object that distinguishes that killer, it comes so far into a series. It's weird, isn't it? It's like Freddy being in the first two Nightmares and then not getting his glove until the third one.
Or
It's crazy.
Freddy not being burned until
Yeah,
the third
yeah.
one or something.
It's just that it's interesting.
Yeah.
Aye. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of similar slightly is the Scream movies obviously changes killer, but there was the Scream TV show that changed the mask, and they didn't
That's
really
right,
need
yeah,
to do
yeah.
that either. But that was a bit of a weird one there. Let's talk about the sex in the film,
Oh yeah.
even though we're in a public place.
That is tasteful.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, I'd say for the most part it is tasteful as well, but obviously usually sex means danger in slasher films, and I think this film plays with it a little bit more. So at the start you've got Axel, who's like the mortician.
Yeah, he loves a bit of necrophilia.
Definitely. He's horny Axel, man. He is looking for his whole.
I think
100%.
Axel's literally just a older version of Teddy.
Yep. Well, that was Teddy as well. Horny Teddy and horny Axel. But it's interesting because his death is intercut with the TV that he's watching, and it's just like sexy aerobics.
That's right, yeah.
And before that, he's like channel hopping with the nurse, and it's going to the news report. And if he paid more attention to the news report, he might have been a bit more alert and survived. So it's like, oh, sex is bad. And then you've got, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, but you've got the random woman who looks about 50, but she's probably only about 30, at the side of the road, eating a banana, and Jason just comes, kills her, and then that's it.
She's getting a sign, and then she turns it around when they drive by. It just says like "fuck you," doesn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Why do you think that character's in there? I've got my theory, right?
Let's hear it.
So, well, as Jason kills her, like she has eaten a banana, and the banana, she squeezes it really hard as she's killed, and basically the banana ejaculates from the banana skin, right? So again, there's the sex reference there. But I think it's because, see, between like Axel and stuff getting killed at the start,
Yep.
it is 43 minutes
Yep.
until one of the main characters gets killed. And I honestly think they went, we need another kill in here, just anyone. And I've basically just threw this random scene in. It wouldn't surprise me if that person has never acted before. They just got a random extra, killed them off, just go, right, okay, every 10 minutes we've still got some sort of kill
something
happening
there.
there.
So I did spot that myself. It was like, there's a huge gap before you actually even see Jason. You actually see a murder.
Except
I guess
for the
it's just
start.
maybe, to kind of establish the characters and to kind of make us feel a little bit for them. Because that's what it does, isn't it?
It's a
in those
slow
times.
burn at the start, and I don't mind it because, as I says, the characters seem like they would get on. You're kind of getting the character dynamic. You know, who's seeing who's sleeping with who's friends. Like, because even from that, you get that Crispin Glover's character. Is it Jimmy? I think so. And Teddy are probably like best mates. You know.
Yeah. Because on that, actually, there are so many characters in the film.
So many.
So I guess you need that time, don't you?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
introduce them all. Even when it's just that initial group without the twins, there must be like, what, 7 of them? 6 or 7?
You've got Teddy, Jimmy. You've got Samantha's boyfriend.
Samantha's boyfriend.
And then there's another girl. Can't remember how the other girl dies though. Or she gets that. She's going out with the guy in the shower.
Yeah.
As
Which
well
is,
for them.
by the way, it's interesting with her. She kind of gives off the final girl vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought,
Yeah.
it's playing with her, then he kills her off, and then it's like, right, this is the real final girl, Kimberly Beck's character.
Yeah. And on the sex stuff as well, you've got Teddy who finds the sex reel.
Oh God.
As well, and then he gets killed literally through the screen when it's playing sex.
Yeah.
So he gets actually impaled by a sexual screen, I guess. as
Yeah,
well there.
the knife comes through the back and gets from the back of the head,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah. Teddy's a funny character though. I do like him. See when he's like sticks his finger through his zipper, and then
Yeah.
the girl walks in and just sees him sitting there like this.
Yeah. And it's interesting, you do get to see, it does kind of remind you, like, you know, it's, I guess, like sex and like relationships and jealousy, that things are a huge part of life at that time, and it really does show you the that feud between both of them, and it kind of takes you back a little bit to when you were rejected when you were younger.
Yeah.
When something's happening right in front of you, that feeling of fuck, I'm just, you know.
Totally. Like you know, if you're at like a house party or something and you really fancy a girl, and maybe you've even like dressed up a little bit to try and impress them, and then like 20 minutes into it, they're away with someone else.
Your best mate.
It could happen to females as well, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you do feel that in it. But what I think is funny is, for our British listeners, I guess more than American, Teddy reminded me of Jay from The In-Betweeners, where he gives it all the talk and actually doesn't get anything. And at first, I thought there was going to be like this kind of playing in like slasher films that came before this. I thought there was going to be this idea of Teddy's a bit of a bully to Jimmy, Crispin Glover's character, But Crispin Glover gives it as good as he gets. As soon
He
as he ends up sleeping with one of the girls, he's ripping into Teddy, who's
Yeah.
got nothing.
Yeah, I guess that's it. So the characters are a little bit more two-dimensional than they are one. There's a bit more about them, isn't there?
Yeah.
I guess you would need to be, because at that time as well, you have so many. So this is in the peak of slasher movies. So I guess you have to do something a bit different. You have to give the characters a bit more to do. Otherwise, it's just going to fall away in the wayside again.
Totally. And the twins in this are interesting that join the main
The
team.
twins are great.
But what I did find interesting was with the whole sexual themes in slasher films, they kind of play a reversal on it, because they are actively looking for sex, those two twins, and they don't care how they're going to get it if they even ruin relationships, and they don't care who they're sleeping with. They just want sex, and usually that type of role is given to a male character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, one of my favourite kills in it actually
From the window?
Yeah, from the window.
Yeah.
It's definitely brilliant.
It's like something out of like Batman.
I know.
The way Jason just smashes through the window, grabs her, throws her out, and the way she hits that,
Hits the car underneath.
and the
it,
car
doesn't
just explodes.
she? It's just like boom. Aye.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There was another good, I guess, going back to one of my favourite kills, the woman in the dinghy. That was interesting as well, because I was watching one of the documentaries and she almost got hypothermia.
Oh, did
And the guy who played
Polly?
Jason,
Oh, Ted White.
he basically said, we're not filming until she heats up, basically until her temperature's back to normal. He refused to film.
Wow, interesting.
Because she'd been out on, because I think they film in October to get the early dark nights, and obviously it's just freezing, so she's obviously naked out in a dinghy. Yeah, it's going to be cold,
gonna be
then
cold.
as well. So I know it's not stunt work, but putting yourself through that is,
It's weird because I think this film was shot in California. I think.
I'm not sure, but
But it's kind of set in more East Coast
mhm.
environments. That's probably where it's set, not really the West. But that's interesting. I thought it'd been all right, but oh well, there you go.
I thought it was funny that 12 minutes into this film, Jason's arm falls out of a gurney twice,
That's
and
right.
it's the same jump scare used twice in the first 12 minutes. That was funny as well.
Aye.
Hi, Mom. Tommy, who's your friend?
Mom, this is Rob. Rob, this is my mother.
Hello, this is
Jarvis.
So one thing I did chuckle at was Rob just randomly getting invited into Tommy's room, and the mum and the sister being absolutely okay with that. 80s was definitely a different time.
Definitely a different time.
Yeah. But I kind of get it, like the wee boy's just excited. I remember when I was young, I would think, like when my uncle came over, I'd be like, do you want to come and see my new game or my new drawing or whatever it might be? But Rob's not his uncle. He's a randomer that's carrying a knife who just randomly managed to fix the car with it.
That's quite cool. Seeing Tommy's room, obviously gives you a little bit more about this kid, and that he is somewhat of a bit of a, I don't want to say a genius, but he's very, very creative, and you just sort of know that he is going to be, well, potentially the one that, kills Jason at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got ingenuity, he's quick thinking, he's creative.
Here's a question though. How did he know what Jason looked like as a kid to imitate that?
He sees the newspaper article, doesn't he?
Right.
He sees the article that Rob was carrying about. So I guess Rob is the link to the family for them to find out what is actually going on, and it's Jason Voorhees. Because they have no clue. They have no clue that he's escaped from the morgue, because they're a family who live out in the woods who don't, I guess, watch TV.
Also, they don't, because why would you still be living in the woods at Camp Crystal Lake if you did that?
Aye, if you did know, exactly.
I guess Rob does kind of link part one, because he's got the sketch in the newspaper from what Jason looked like in part one. He's looking for his sister from part two. I guess there's no link to part 3 in there, except the film just takes place the next day.
Yeah.
So Saturday the 14th, part 4. Let's not get into that though, because that's...
No.
I mean, when Jason X, when he goes to space, does days even exist anymore? Is there a Friday the 13th in space?
Well, it's weird as well. I don't actually know how much the date is referenced in these films.
Because
If it is Friday the 13th, I don't think it is. I think it's just the name of the series. I don't know if it's...
yeah, because even like by the time you get to like Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, you know, things like that, they're trying to get away from the Friday. They know it's not really working, I think, as a
Aye.
title. One thing it did get me though was Trish. So there's this part where Trish now knows Jason's alive. He's mutilated all the teens that have been living next door, and she's running away from Jason, and she opens the front door and there's a body on the porch.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, physics gets in the way and she can't step over the body, so she decides to find another exit. She runs to the back door, and Crispin Glover's character, I think it is hanging from there. Suddenly she can't move that body out the way, decides to throw herself through a window.
Well, actually, it's funny because the same thing happens with Jason. Jason at one point just walks right through Jimmy, doesn't he? He literally just grabs him off of those spikes. No, well, he's been sort of nailed to the door frame.
That's what it is.
And then
yeah,
Jason
yes.
literally just walks right by him and just like rips him off it and throws him away.
That's true, yeah. It is quite a nice shot though after Trish has thrown herself from the window and she's a bit kind of dazed and unconscious or semi-conscious. And there's this like bird's eye view of a line in like the autumn leaves and stuff. And she kind of, her body's almost positioned like Christ on the cross. And it's just a really cool, striking image, like vulnerable women like surrounded by like this kind of darkness. It's just cool.
Just
Yeah,
the way you like it.
I knew you had to go there.
But I think I don't know if we touched on this earlier, but there is that with this film, you know, the production value seems to be up to the. It just looks like a pretty well shot film. It's not going to win any awards or anything like that. Nothing in this film is, but it's definitely a step up from part 3.
And the effects are great as well.
Yeah, the effects are brilliant.
Yeah, and on part 3, just because it was shot for 3D,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of it is terrible. Like,
Terrible.
it spends like 20 minutes just showing us a yo-yo going up and down because it's like, look what we can do with this new technology.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for me. But this is great, and Tom Savini obviously came back to do the makeup, and that I think elevates it
Yeah.
as well. Like that scene where Tommy attacks Jason with a machete,
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?
and then Jason's head just slides down the machete. It looks awesome. His eyes still kind of twitching there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is almost like, this is the kind of film that, this is his death that sort of confirms that he is finally, after 3, we could say 4 films, he is actually dead.
Yep.
So this is like before the undead Jason. This is the film that basically finishes him off before he comes back as a sort of, you know, zombie undead figure. But in this, he's still very human. You know, he's disfigured. He runs in this.
Very uncommon in a slasher film.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah, it does. I think it works. I love the shot when I think it was Trish hits him with a machete and it's his hand that kind of goes through his finger and just like cuts his hand right down, and he just sort of looks at it.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool.
It was almost like the way he looks at it is, oh shit, I can actually be hurt. It reminds me of in the original A Nightmare on Elm Street when Nancy pulls Fred out the dreams, and he's kind of got a shock moment where, oh, actually that fucking hurt. Oh wait, I am slightly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Which goes back to the fact that you said he's supposed to be still kind of human at this point.
Yeah. Aye, it's a pretty good film.
What would you rate it out of 5?
I'd go with maybe a 3.5 machetes.
I agree. 3.5 machetes. I don't think any Friday is a 4 out of 5. Maybe part 2. Part 2 is solid.
I like part 2, yeah.
But on that note then, what's your top 3 Friday the 13th films?
It's a hard one. I think, 2, 4 and 6 are probably my top 3. I don't know the order,
Okay.
but I think they're definitely up there.
Reminder viewers, what is 2, 4, and 6? What happens in them, or what's their names?
Part 2 is straight after Friday the original, and it's the first time we sort of see Jason as an adult, and he's got the bag over his head that he wears.
Sack.
The sack, yeah. And part 6 is when Tommy basically revives Jason. An older Tommy Jarvis. He revives Jason. He revives him to kill him, or he tries to.
Yep, he doesn't believe he's fully dead. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he brings him back, and all hell gets leashed.
My top ones are probably part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just think it's a strong slasher film. I think I can't remember her name, so forgive me, but our final girl actually
Jenny?
defeats.
Mm-hmm.
She actually defeats Jason, which is quite cool. This one's quite good. Part 4 is good, and I'm gonna throw one out there. The Platinum Dunes Friday the 13th kind of remake. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets an absolute slating. But I think it made me terrified of jet skis, nothing else. But also, for those that haven't seen it, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but we spend the first 20 minutes with this group of characters that we believe are going to be our main characters. And 20 minutes in, Jason just kills them all, and then we start again. And I thought that was very brave.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah,
It's got a banging sex scene in it as well.
in the
remake?
tent. In the tent.
Tent and in the bedroom as well. Can't remember the girl's name, but aye. Great scene.
If you're watching Friday for your porn, Stephen recommends the remake.
Like I say, these films are never going to they're never going to win any awards or like that, but they're just a great boost of nostalgia. I've seen that earlier on. We don't have camps, summer camps over in the UK, so for us, seeing something like a summer camp on screen and growing up, you'd always be like, oh man, I wish we had something like that. And I was saying to you earlier, I used to work in summer camps and that in the States, and that was just, I couldn't believe it, because I was just like, man, this is something I watched in cinemas all the time. You had everything there, the cabins, the lakes, the councillors all playing games and all that, and all the kind of promiscuous things that were kind of going on with the councillors and things like that. It was just a great time, and I think that's actually why I wanted to work for summer camps after watching so many Friday the 13th films growing up.
For you're going to get your whole.
Aye, pretty much, aye. And I did.
And that wraps up Friday the 13th Part 4. We will be back with a regular episode next week. But yeah, we just thought we'd do our first live outdoor one. We hope the sound quality is A-OK, but probably not. See you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
We're friends to the end. Remember?
This is the end, friend.